So recently, the Division 2 developers have been very active on Twitter, communicating, talking, chatting up, making jokes, and giving us very good info about what we should expect in the Division 2 coming forward, especially with the new update. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, the first thing you guys can do is leave a thumbs up, but let's get into it. So the first thing we'll be talking about are the Rathbone Gloves, which look like exotic gloves in the PTS. And Yannick, the creative director, actually came out and said, folks, in regards to the Rathbone Gloves that were found in the expertise menu on the PTS, this is not a new hidden exotic item. It's an old item that never made it into the game. We have several of these. We have no plans to bring it back, and it will be removed from the menu. So there are no other exotics, at least that we know of, coming except the ones that we tested. Now this may change, but I feel like there are a lot of new exotics, gear, weapons, all being added into Season 9. For them to add a item that we didn't test just seemed a little weird. And we are getting a ton of exotics, so I'm excited for the new gear, weapons that we're getting. I'm just more excited for what's coming after. We'll address that in a little bit. But stash space was addressed. I know a lot of you guys asked that. DJ Tickle did ask the question. He says, I hate to be the guy to ask, but any sign of more loadout stash space with the new gear coming in TU15? And well, I kind of knew this was going to be the answer. Look at what Yannick said. And Yannick says, nope, no plans for that in TU15. We have reached the limit of how much storage an account can own. We need to find creative ways if we want to extend it any further. Now, I do remember that they said a while back when they did give us the initial stash space upgrade, they said we're going to give you as much as we can. And this is probably as much as we'll ever be able to do, and it looks like that's it. Now, someone did come out and ask, thanks for the reply, even as a paid option, how about more characters? Thanks. Yannick says, the problem is not paid or not paid, is just the size of an account save. The more storage, the bigger the save, and that's always been the bigger issue with the game. And obviously, you guys know how massive Division 2 is already. When you try to save this, it is pretty hefty, and whether you're on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, I'm pretty sure you'll notice that your file save is actually really big. Now, it's not all bad news. We do have a little bit of good news, and this one actually made me smile a little because it was with the product director and the creative director. Morton says, just to think about one more PTS and we are on the home stretch to releasing the new season in Division 2. This is alongside TU15 with the new game mode, and Yannick says, and more after that. Exclamation mark. And I actually smiled at this because I know they have a lot of things in store for the division going forward. This is just one step. Obviously, they have the specialization rework. They have more stuff planned, and we will just have to wait and see when they finally announce all of this. But it's going to be a big year for the Division 2 based on what they've been saying, and we just have to sit back, relax, and just enjoy TU15. And then hopefully the next content gets showcased shortly after. Now, you guys do know that raid gear items now will be in the open world in TU15. So that means the chest, the backpack can now be farmed in the open world, which are some of the better pieces in the Division 2 when you're creating around those gear sets. Now, I will tell you that the question was asked about exotics and raid exotics specifically, and this was what was asked. Will the new raid exotics be locked with the raid, or will there be other ways to get them in the future? Yannick said, so far, we have no plans to make them available outside of the raid. So if you guys have been looking at getting those raid exotics, the Eagle Bearer, the Regulus, the Ravenous, yes, you still have to try to find a team. Best way to do this is either on the Division 2 official Discord. You could try my Discord. You could try other content creator Discords. Check out the streams. There's a lot of streamers who actually stream it and say we're looking for people, and if you're in those streams, you get a chance of participating in the raid, and that doesn't guarantee that a raid exotic will drop, but you have a chance of getting it, and you get to learn the mechanics, and hopefully the more people who learn the mechanics and want to still raid, they have a chance of getting it. So definitely look out for those looking for groups, either in the official Division 2 raid Discord. You can check out the School Skill Discord, which is mine, and hopefully you can find a group. Now, there was a question about PvP that was answered. It says, hey Yannick, you in the studio have been very vocal lately. However, why is it so hard to talk to the PvP community? And Yannick comes back and says, to be honest, it's just hard to reply when we don't have anything concrete to add. And I've been saying this for a while. I honestly just don't think the Division 2 at the moment really is focused on PvP. Yes, some of the changes will help. Some of the gear sets will change the way the meta works. But overall, them focusing only on PvP, I really just don't see it happening, especially with Heartland coming out, which is more of a PvE/PvP game. I just don't really see them focusing on PvP for the Division, at least at the moment, especially with them just trying to get more content out there, right? Because if we look at it, the PvE community is a little bit bigger, and I'm one of the few who love both. Like, I play PvE, I play PvP, but I do like playing both. But there's people who only play PvE, there's people who only play PvP, and I would have to say that the group that only plays PvE and the group that only plays PvP, like, I would say that group that only plays PvE is probably a little bit bigger, and you know, it's a bigger fan base. But it's just what I see from the outside. I don't know the numbers exactly. It's just what I've been gathering from all of this. Now, I know a few of you have been asking about the corner glitching in the game, and if you guys don't know, that's third person. When you zoom in from a corner, you can zoom in with your scope, and your character's kind of hidden, but you can see them perfectly. And it says any fix with corner glitching coming. And then Yannick said nothing planned in the short future. We may look at it later to see if we can make improvements to alleviate this issue, but no guarantee. Now, what I will tell you about this is I kind of notice this in a lot of third-person games. It's just the way the characters are, especially when you can shoulder swap and hug a corner. It's more prevalent when you do zoom in that your character isn't really seen by the other character, but you see them fully, and that's just the way when you play third-person games, you tend to see it a lot more. In some games, you've seen it where when you're not even scoped in, you can like hug a corner and your barrel's just sticking out, but you can still see the character fully. And in this game, it's happens more when you have that scope, and that's when you see it the most. So I don't know if they plan on changing this. Like I said, PvE players don't have an issue with it. PvP players have an issue with it. It's just, is it a priority at the moment? And obviously, it's probably more to do with how our characters are, and with them changing it, will it change the overall game, right? Like our overall mechanics, and that's a big issue because we don't know how that affects the core gameplay of the game. With them changing one slight thing, could it mess up other things? And that's just something we have to keep in mind when we ask about these, if they're gonna fix them or not. But that's all that I got. That's what we've been seeing from the developers. It's been kind of cool to see them very, very active on Twitter, and that's the best thing that we can ask for. They were super quiet. Now we know new content's coming. They're being more and more active, and I really see them for the rest of the year just being more active. And I can only see this hopefully keep moving forward, and us just keep up on the uptrend. So I'm excited for where the Division 2 is going to go, and I'm actually excited to finally get to play Heartland. So whenever they do an open beta for that, or release it to a console, or get me on a playtest, I can't wait to try it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm still very excited for that, and hopefully we get to see something. Well, I get to see something, and hopefully you get to see something. Hopefully we get an official announcement of what the game truly is, because I keep hearing mixed things. All right, we'll wrap it up here. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.